Hi, it's Coach Fred and I'm back talking more about slope. So this is video number 3 on slope. We've already talked about slope, finding it in different ways. We also talked about just finding the slope in a question on the SAT. Today we're going to look at using the slope to find another point, and we're going to look at both familiar and unfamiliar ways. So let's get right to it. So here's an equation where we use the slope to find another point. And the question gives us a graph of a line, and you might notice that on this line, or in this line, within this line, we've got this rectangle with some coordinate points. And it says, in the figure above, if line L has a slope of -2, what is the y-intercept of line L? So let me just remind you that the y-intercept is where a line or where something crosses the y-axis, and it has a coordinate point 0, y. All right, so I've got the slope. My slope is 2. That means that my change in y for every -2, for every 1x, I'm changing by -2. Now, I can see that it's a negative slope because the line is falling. All right, so I need a point to be able to work with, to start some place to start. So this rectangle can actually help me because this distance across is 3, so that makes this x coordinate 3. And this distance up is 4, so I have the coordinate point 3, 4. So if the slope is -2, I can work my way backwards. So I can, instead of going down 2 and to the right 1, I can go up 2 and to the left 1. Now you might notice I actually have to go to the left 1 3 times to get to 0. So if I go up 2 and to the left 1, I would be at 6, 2. I'm sorry, 2, 6. And then if I go up 2 again and to the left 1, I would be at 1, 8. Still not the y-intercept. So if I go up 2 again and to the left 1, I would be at 0, 10. So all I did was I kept going up and over, up and over, up and over until I got to a point of 0, y. So my y-intercept would be 10. All right, so that's kind of familiar. That's the way you learn to do it. You learn to take a point and go, rise over run, rise over run, rise over run. Unfamiliar might be if they give it to you in a table, and it's not the only way to handle this problem, but it says some values of the linear function, so they tell me it's a line, and they said it's a function, so if you think about it, that means function notation, which is y equals mx plus b, or f of x equals mx plus b. So we know that we could write an equation of a line if we wanted to. All right, now it says, what is the value of f at 3? So now remember, f at 3 means f of x. So we know it wants the value for x of 3. So on my table, it wants the y when x is 3, okay? So in looking at this, you could use slope to help you because it's looking for a coordinate point on the graph. So I looked at the table and I said, you know what, let me find the slope. So from -2 to 4, remember, it's a change of 6 units up. From 0 to 2, it's a change of 2 units. So that tells me, because they already told me it was linear, that my slope is 6 over 2, which is a ratio that can be simplified and written as 3 over 1. That means for every change in 1x, y is changing by 3. So if you think about this, from 2, if I go up 1 unit, that means that I have to go up 3 units along y, which would put me at a y coordinate or an f of x coordinate of 7. So that is one way to use slope that's a little bit unfamiliar. Remember, 3 over 1 and 6 over 2 work out to be the exact same thing. All right, here, instead of just finding the slope with points, they gave you variables as points. So a couple ways to handle a problem like this. It just asks me what the slope is. And so I'm first going to look at the line and say, is the slope positive or negative? And remember, we read graphs from left to right, okay? And so this slope is falling, which means it's a negative slope. So that means my slope has to be negative, so I'm going to get rid of b and d because those are positive slopes. Okay. Then I have to really think about slope. It's a change in y over a change in x. So from this case, if I start here, I'm going down. So down is along the y, which would be down R units. So I'd be going down R and to the right S. So negative R over S. You got to be really careful. Look, the other answer is S over R. And that would mean you did change in X over a change in Y. And so if you remember from video 1, I said one way to remember that was to do rise over run and spell rise with a Y so that I remember that Y's are in the top. All right, so hopefully that was a quick, helpful video for you on slope. Have a great day.